I'm Amy, and I am a mom, a wife, and I am a creator. And it started with the creation of my children. So I am a cosmetologist. I am a self published author. I wrote my first book and published it in 2019. And I am also an entrepreneur where I create my own apparel. So I am creating t-shirts, I am creating mugs and things of that sort. So that's my spiel. That's who I am. And I am excited to be here with you. Thank you so much, Yanni, for taking the time out to interview me. I'm excited. And I hope you guys excited too.
We're super excited. So, one of our current favorite questions right now that we've been kind of thinking on, meditating on, has been who are you? And you kind of touched on that already, speaking on how you were a mother, but we've been discussing it in terms of who are you outside of what society has taught us to identify ourselves as. Like, we first identify ourselves as I do this, I do that, I'm a creator, I'm an artist, I'm a cosmetologist, and we go by our job title. And
Mhm.
so we've been asking the question to people, who are you when we take all of that off? Who are you as the person?
Okay, that's an interesting question.
Mm,
Yeah, so let me think on that for a minute.
please.
I am a when I said I am a mother, physically I am a mother, but by nature, before I even had my children, I
Mhm,
am the nurturer. That's who I am. I've been that way ever since I was a little girl, but I've always had that nurturing characteristic. I've always wanted to take care of people. I've always wanted to make sure everybody is okay. Um, I am I'm an optimist,
mhm,
um, because I just, you know, I just don't think you can get too far without being optimistic,
mhm,
right? I used to think that I had this pessimistic attitude because
mhm,
but I'm really an optimistic person. Um, I am a believer in life. I believe in people
mhm,
and the good and the bad.
mhm,
I just believe in people. I believe that we are acting out almost a script that has already been written for
mhm,
each of us. And so because of that, um, I don't put a lot of stock into things that people may do or say.
mhm,
Always the one to take a step back and say, well, what are the qualifiers? What were some of the things that contributed to this? Because I just believe that every day has already been planned, and
mhm,
these things were destined to already take place. So I'm a believer in people. I'm a believer in God. Um, like I said, I'm an optimistic person. I'm a deep thinker. Um, Nothing is ever surface with me.
mhm,
Rest assured, whatever we're saying, whatever the conversation is, I'm going to ponder long and hard, long after the conversation has ended.
mhm.
Because that's just who I am. I like to break things apart and just figure it out.
That's
So
beautiful.
that's
I
me.
love that.
That's
I
me.
love that. That's
Thank
beautiful. I love that. A deep thinker, a believer. That is wonderful. And wow, how I wish there was so much more of that today, just sitting with some things.
you.
You are a licensed cosmetologist. So talk to me a little bit about that. Where did that journey begin? Where was inspiration?
We didn't
So,
have YouTube when I was 16 doing hair, right?
mhm,
Um, but one of the things that I just believe in, and that is, whatever you are going to do, have the credentials to do it.
mhm,
And the reason why is because you can be great at anything, but without the credentials, people don't believe you, right?
mhm,
And so it's okay to to do things, but you will get much further
Mhm.
when you have the credentials.
Mm.
So I think it's very important, like you said, no shade,
Mhm.
because there are some YouTube stylists who are doing it.
Mhm. Absolutely.
But the sacrifice is if the board catches you, you're going to be shut down and you could be sued, right?
Okay.
Okay. So if someone comes to me, one, you're getting a consultation, right? So we're going to discuss your scalp
Mm.
and your hair, not just your hair, because your hair is an extension of your scalp, right? So we're
Mhm.
going to have a consultation. We're going to talk about the products that we're using specifically for you, right?
Mhm.
So that if something should happen, right? Number one, I've educated you, right? So now we can, it's easier to fix the problem as
Absolutely.
opposed to me just doing whatever I think is best and then something happening and you come to me and we have to go to court. Now, what can I say? What can I say? I can say when we go to court, I can say that as a professional, as a stylist, as a licensed stylist, these are the things that I know to be true. Now, why this happened, I don't know. Is it, something has to do with maybe they don't have blood pressure, maybe they're, medicine, maybe they're doing this, maybe they're doing that. At least I have some type of something to stand on. When
Mhm.
you don't have the license and the credentials, you don't have anything to stand on.
Okay. So, as a cosmetologist, do you have anything that you actually specialize in particularly, or do you kind of do a broad spectrum?
But I specialize in hair care.
Okay.
That's my tag is, the shampoo bowl where hair care is the trend.
Mm,
Because that's what we're trending over here, hair care, right?
that's
So that is my zhush. That's the thing that I do. And I tell everybody who comes to the shampoo bowl, when you sit in the chair, you're coming and you're going to get an experience. And I got the name the shampoo bowl because that's where it takes place. The
mm,
shampoo bowl is the most important place in a salon. The shampoo bowl. That's where, I mean, the magic happens in the shampoo bowl. Whatever you do at the shampoo bowl determines what the outcome will be in the chair. So,
that's true.
yeah, so hair care. I specialize in hair care. If your hair's broken, if it's dry, if it's damaged, if it's split, if you have seborrheic dermatitis on the scalp, those are the type of things that I take seriously, and those are the type of things that I want to help you solve. So, yes.
I might need a consultation. Hair has been dry, struggling. So sounds like my lane. I have been on this actually YouTube journey trying to understand hair porosity, the science, um,
Mhm. Yep.
and there's a lot to it. So yes, it sounds like I need a consultation with the professional.
Yes, yes, yes. And I was even doing consultations throughout the pandemic. That was one of the things that helped me get through the pandemic. Just
Mhm,
offering that service.
mhm,
You like how you do a consultation if you're in a pandemic, you can't see anybody. So I set up Zoom.
mhm,
Send them exactly what I needed them to bring to the Zoom. I
mhm,
had them doing a strand test on their own hair, testing out the porosity of their hair.
mhm,
Simple things, and you know, and once we go through everything, offering them, solutions or offer them things that they can use until they were able to come in and see me. So it helped.
beautiful, beautiful. Do you have a favorite thing in your hair care practice for you to either do or advise? Is there something that you favor in particular?
Steam treatments
Ooh.
because the hair is really weird in how it works with different things.
Mhm,
And I tell my clients all the time, your hair is skin. It's an extension of your skin. So essentially, whatever you do to your body, your skin, you need to be doing it with, keeping in mind that this is going to affect my hair, right? And
mhm.
so, what is the one thing that everybody should be doing so that they can have supple skin? Hydrate,
Water. Yeah.
hydrate, 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 right? Because your hair
Mhm.
is like screaming, you know. Now, our peers from the other persuasion
Mhm.
shampoo their hair every single day.
Mhm.
We do not because we don't have that luxury. But
Mhm.
that's why our hair tends to be a lot drier,
Mhm.
lot more prone to break
Mhm.
because we don't have that option. And so to get around that, because we ain't jumping in no shower every day washing our head. That's just all that's to it. I'm not doing it. And I know that you probably should. I ain't doing it.
Mhm.
So to remedy that situation, someone came up with steam treatments, right? So what the steam treatment essentially does, really quick, is just it helps to lift the cuticle, right? Because the hair strand is made up of layers. It's layers to it, right?
Mhm.
So you have the cuticle, the cortex, the medulla.
Ooh.
There are these layers that sit on top of each other. So what the steam treatment, the cuticle is the last layer. So what the steam treatment does essentially is it lifts it. It helps the heat helps lift it. The heat and the moisture helps lift it. So that when you put a product on it, the product could actually penetrate and get into the cuticle, right? Because normally when we condition our hair, we put the conditioner on it and it's just sitting on there. And it may penetrate a little bit depending on how big the molecules are, but not really,
Mhm.
right? And so it makes it feel good because there's, some stuff in it to make it soft, make it feel soft. But those things are just surface. You actually want to just get into the hair. So the steam treatment, you can do steam treatment. I have a steamer, actual, steamer, because
Mhm.
I have a hair salon. But people who don't have that, you can actually do your own steam treatments at home, right? You shampoo your hair like you always do. You put the conditioner in it. You put a plastic bag over it and you wet a towel as hot as your hands can stand it. You wring it and you wrap it around your hair, right? And then you put another bag on it and you leave it on there for 10 minutes. It's not going to do a better job than an actual steamer, but it's going to get the job done.
Got
Yes, so I like steamers. Right.
okay. That's so funny. I talk about alignment. I had literally just been looking into steamers because I had read about how steam was one of the ways to like help lift that cuticle layer and help you absorb the product and the moisture better so your hair stays better hydrated. So I'm thrilled to be learning about and hearing all of this. This is great.
I'm confirming it all. Confirmations. Yep.
Yes, confirmations, confirmations.
Mhm.
Love it, love it, love it.
Yep.
She just mentioned it to me, steamers to me earlier this week.
Oh, wow.
I was literally like, we literally need one. I was like, you're dry scalp. I deal with occasional seasonal eczema and dyshydrotic eczema, which is the rare form, but it does affect my hands and then my scalp. And so I do have the head body needing that extra love and extra moisture. So, yes, wow. Love confirmations like that. That is one time. Yes, thank you. Um, so, all right, for steam. So, for hair care overall, so you do it all. Is the prep is your preference natural? Is that where your main focus is?
I'm not going to say my preference is natural. I will
Mhm.
say that the majority of my clientele
Mm,
natural. However, when I say natural, I mean they don't have any chemicals in their hair,
correct, right.
but they all wear their hair pressed,
Mhm. Okay,
except for maybe 10%.
okay.
Right. So you have the 10% that does the twist outs and the flexi rods and the occasional braids or the faux locks or whatever, or they have locks. But
Mhm.
then you have the other 90% who have natural hair, no chemicals, just their tresses, but
Mhm.
they want it straight. And
Mhm.
so that's where the silk press comes in.
Okay, yes. Talk to
The
me
silk
about that. I hear
is
that's one of your specialties. Yeah.
Yes. So, we had the hat comb back in my day when I was growing up. They burned your ear with the hat
Burn
comb.
your ear, burn your scalp.
Honey, you can smell the smoke for days after you got your hair pressed, right?
Mhm.
So, and it was loaded down with oil.
Mhm.
Oil is just
Sizzling.
not, no, no, oil and heat don't even go together, right? No.
Whew.
We just stopped that, right? So, a silk press is basically a form of pressing where you're not using oils.
Mm.
right? You're depending on the natural oils from the scalp. Okay.
Mm.
And essentially you're breaking the bonds. You're breaking the
Mm.
hydrogen bonds without using a chemical, right?
Mhm.
So the bonds are not broken. The hair is in its natural curly state,
Mhm.
and the heat is pulled through it. The bonds are broken and they shift and they form a flat line, basically, right?
Okay.
And so these are hydrogen bonds, actually. And once the water hits it, then those bonds go back in
Okay.
place, and so that's why your head gets curly again. Now,
Mhm.
you've heard people say, "I've had heat damage and it messed up my hair," and da,
Mhm.
da, da. So sometimes it is heat damage, right? But heat damage is burning, right? So if you touch your hair and you do like this and it's not crumbling in your hand, right? Or it's not discolored, 9 times out of 10 is not heat damage. What happens is the hair has memory. So
Mhm.
it's heat remembrance. It remembers that it was straight. And so it takes a while to convert back to people
Wow.
like, oh, then I have to go cut all my hair off because look at this straight, it won't get, yes, it will. Just give it a couple of weeks. It'll go back. It'll go back.
Wow. That was literally the reason for one of my big chops. I was so
Yeah.
dramatic. It was straight and it
Yes.
wouldn't curl back. And
Like,
I
oh my
literally just,
gosh, it's not curling back. And then I'm like, yes, it will. It will. It's not damaged. It's not damaged. You don't have heat damage unless, like I said, you start noticing that it's breaking when you comb it or touch it, because it's been fried.
mhm.
Or like if it's discolored. Like I've seen people come in and the hair has like this steel cast on it.
Hmm.
That means it's been scorched, basically.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which can happen because you can use too much heat, you can turn it up, and that's why everybody is different. So you have to do the consultations and look at your client's hair because everybody the hair is not the same. Even if it looks the same,
Mhm.
everybody's hair is not the same. Looks are deceiving,
Oh,
right?
yes. I definitely learned that sitting here trying to learn from YouTube videos. I was like, okay, my hair didn't wind up looking like that.
Exactly, exactly. There was something, and it could be something very small, one small difference between the hair. You may have the same hair texture, but not the same density. Um, you may be missing one of the layers. You may
Mhm.
not, your cortex may be damaged. It could be anything. So yeah. Yep.
Wow. That's amazing. Like I'm sitting here processing that for a majority of my life. I've been sitting here believing that heat damage is the devil, don't straighten your hair, like it's the antichrist.
I have clients who I've been doing for over 10 years who get silk press at least every 2 to 3 weeks, and they still can wear their hair curly. Like if they decide, like the pandemic, they couldn't come, so they shampoo their hair and they just wore their hair curly. It just went back. So it's not, no. And besides that, um, most of the time it's your ends that are straight, and that's what needs to be trimmed anyway, because you need to get a trim every 6 to 8 weeks. So the majority of that time, it's the environment. You have your clothes, you have the environment, the air, the sun, the wind, the water, like all of these different things that affect your hair. So yeah, yeah. They're giving heat a bad name, trying to
Okay.
run us out of business. We need heat, okay? Some of us need it. We got to press. Look, I have to press these edges every other day. I can't be walking. That's why I got this on today, so y'all can't see. But yeah.
Do you have a favorite style to do? I'm just curious about that.
Not really.
Okay.
No, not really. I just like to make people feel good. I like for people to. I like the wow factor. I
Yeah.
like to wow people because I have so many people like, oh, I went to the Dominicans and they couldn't get it straight, and went there and then they did this, and then I went, and then they turn around like, oh my god, oh my. I like the wow factor, so yeah.
Oh, yeah, like you said, an experience. I love that. I love to see it. Now, you
Mhm.
kind of already answered this question, but just in case you may have another to offer, what is a common hair or hairstylist misconception?
Mm. A common misconception. Mm. That we own our clients.
Hmm.
So, you know, you have clients that come and then they stop.
Hmm.
And then you go on Instagram and you see that they went somewhere else.
Hmm.
And you in your feelings. Like,
Hmm.
my client started going, no, 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 no. That's not your client. We don't own clients. And you don't have to sneak and go anywhere else. You can go with it's your money. I
Hmm.
cannot tell you not to go to Boom Chica to get your hair done. You can go wherever you want. If you want to go to a YouTube stylist or another licensed stylist, go and don't feel the shame about it. It's like, oh, she's gonna be mad when she find out that I went and let such and such. No, I'm not. I promise you, I'm not gonna be mad because I don't own you. You can do it's listen, it's you're a consumer. You
Hmm.
can do what you want with your money.
Absolutely.
That's like me. I don't always go to the same grocery store.
Hmm.
I don't always buy my clothes from the same place. I don't use the same vendor when I'm buying my t-shirts. I go, with what's good for me at that time. And I think um a lot of clients, are sometimes afraid to leave, you know,
Hmm.
especially that's like being in a bad relationship. You're in a situation where it's not good for you. You've
Hmm.
been going to somebody for 10 years and your hair is still not past your ear. That's a problem. And it's not because your hair will not grow. Everybody's hair grows, right?
Hmm.
So it's about retention. So if you leave, go somewhere else. But it's this misconception that, you know, it's going to be a big thing if I leave and I go somewhere else. Like, no.
It's like do what you got to do for you, because
Yeah,
that's what we all here for.
right.
Your head is your money, your life.
Right.
So my next question, probably kind of coming to the end of our hair talk. What does hair mean to you?
Hair to me is for the majority of women. Um, it's like a beautiful hat. Like it's that statement piece. It's that if my hair is done, I don't care if nothing else is done. You know what I mean? If if my hair is done, I could feel. I mean, I could be having the worst day and do my hair, and all is right with the world. And I'm not even going anywhere.
Hmm.
I just feel better. So hair for me that is that piece that um it gives to women. It's something about our mane. It's our crown. It's our glory. You
Yeah,
know, and the scripture says that it's a woman's hair is her glory. It's our glory, literally. So for me, that's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah,
beautiful. I love that. And I can definitely relate. I feel like I had that yesterday. It's just like, all right, I look crazy, but my hair is done, so
exactly.
I'll be
Exactly.
all right.
Yep.
I
Exactly.
love that. I love that. So, kind of switching gears a little bit, I
Mhm.
want to talk about your book. Uh, how was that experience? The process, getting it done, releasing it. Talk to me about that.
So, In Search of Amy. Yep, that was and it was a process and it was an experience, all of that, right?
I
So,
can tell by the book. That's why I was like, I'm interested to, hear
so
about
I
it.
knew that I wanted to write a book for years.
Hmm.
And, just what I wanted to write about and how honest I wanted to be
Hmm.
gave me the, reservation because I'm like, my mom is still living, my father is living, like, they gonna kill me and this person be mad and blah blah blah. And then my mom said to me one day, Amy, don't die with your book in you. And I was like, she must don't know me talking about her a lot. And the book is about my relationship with her. You the reason why I want to write the book. But that her saying that, gave me the okay, so to speak. But my mom is a Gemini.
Mhm.
Yeah, switch personalities. So although she said it and I caught it and I kind of believed it, I was like, because she would turn on you, honey. She would change her mind in a minute.
Mhm.
So I still had some reservations and just things just, were coming up and happening. And I was like, just write it, write it, write it. And I would start and then I would just go blank and there was nothing there. And then
Mhm.
one day I was like, let me go back and I opened up my computer and I just started writing and I started writing and started writing. And then I, came to this, like plateau, just like, it just seemed like, this is really everybody's story, sort of kind of thing.
Mhm.
And then I was doing some research, looking up, doing some research for my family, for my mom's family, and decided I wanted to do a DNA test to find out about my maternal grandmother because it really hurt me to think that on my mom's side of the family we couldn't go past my great grandmother,
Mhm.
and not because everybody was dead but because nobody knew anything.
Mhm.
I knew my great grandmother. She didn't die until I was like 26 years old.
Wow.
The fact that nobody knew anything about her life when she was a part of our life, she was a very present force in our life,
Mm.
was very, disheartening to me. Because how could this lady die at the age of 90 and live among you and nobody knows anything about her?
Mm.
And it's like nobody asks questions. Like you never thought to say, Grandma, where your mama? Grandma,
Mhm.
do you have any siblings? Mama, like nobody, it's just like this is crazy. And I so didn't want to be that person, right? Because I'm very inquisitive. I'm nosy.
Mhm.
So I like to, get into it. So I started doing research and I was like, I'm gonna find her family, and I'm pretty sure that people out here is probably looking for us. And so I started doing my research. And then of course as an African American growing up in the United States of America, we got that brick wall. Boom. Can't go any further. So I decided to do a DNA test and I did a DNA test and I started finding all these people. And I was like, ooh, and I found my grandmother's family. Yes. I'm like, ooh, I ain't never seen his name. She must have changed her name or something. Maybe she was married. Girl, let me tell you, I called one of them people my first cousin. Now, I am a very intelligent person, right?
Mm.
Nothing gets past me. I should have been a detective.
Mm.
Because nothing, and I told you, I'm a deep thinker. Like, I'm going to get to the bottom of everything.
Mhm.
So I said, wait a minute. You can't beat my first cousin unless you're one of my aunts or uncles' children, right?
Mhm.
I know all my mother's siblings and all of their children, but I didn't know all of my father's family. I knew his sisters and I knew they had kids, and I could pretty much tell you like their names, but there were some that I didn't because he never had me around. So I was like, well, maybe this is one of them. So I reached out to him and he reached right back out and we got to talking and come to find out he didn't even know my father. So I was like, whoa. And I'm like, well, did my grandmother have a baby and they tell nobody about it? Anyway, long story short, honey, that's how I found out that the man I thought was my father all them years wasn't. So after 48 years, I found out that this man is not my dad and this man is. And that gave me the rest of the book
Mhm.
because I was just writing the book. I wasn't even like doing chapters and anything. I was just writing. And then when that happened, I went back and that's when I started arranging the writings. That's when I started putting the things together, and I realized that there, were pivotal points in my life, and those are the chapters that you see,
Yeah.
right? You see me and my mother and my father, you see my husband and I, you see my children, and then you see, so those are the pivotal moments of my life, and that's how I, got the chapters together and all of that. And then it was, the self-publishing, because I was trying to figure out, like, who I'm gonna shop this book around to, and who's going to buy it, and that sort of thing. And I to be honest with you, my angst with the whole situation with my father, meeting family members and things like that, was the reason why I self-published it, because I did not want to go through the hunt again, because I felt like that's what that was. Like, I was already on the hunt for something, and then I have to go on a hunt to find a publisher
Mhm.
and all of this stuff. And so I was like, let me figure out how to self-publish this, right? And I did. I found out that Amazon had, you know,
Mhm.
this space where you can do it. I found Fiverr where you can go and find a illustrator to do my book cover, and once I got my book cover, oh my God, I knew it. I was like, this is God, because I sent the gentleman just a description of the book, and when he sent the picture back, first of all, I thought it was me. It's like, where the hell did he get this picture from? And it was so it really just spoke to what I was doing. Yes, In Search of Amy. Yes, like that is just like beautiful. I was like, this is it. This is it. You know, and I have my only regret is that I did not write more.
Mm.
And I didn't because, like I said, my anxiety started getting the best of me. And I was like, let me publish it before this is another thing that I've done and I'm just sitting on, kind of thing. It's like, no, because I'm a starter of all things.
Mhm.
I used to be a finisher of none.
Mm. Mhm.
And until I got my cosmetology license,
Mhm.
that was the first thing that I set my mind to do, and I finished. And after that, I made up my mind to be intentional about starting and not stopping until I finished. I graduated and got my bachelor's degree in 2017. I started school, Lord knows, I don't even know how long ago, and I just kept, putting it off, putting it off, putting it off, putting it off, putting it off. And I was like, you know what? Once I got my cosmetology license, it's just like you have to just keep doing it. Just keep going. Just keep going. And that's what I did with the book. Like, Amy, publish it, put it out there. I mean, I done edited that book since I published it.
Wow.
Listen, so many times, because every time I read it, I'm like, there, not THEIR, there, THER. It's just like, because when you read, if you write something so much, your mind reads it the way
The
it's
right way. Mhm.
so trying. I mean, so I don't know whether I do recommend self-publishing, but get a editor,
Mhm.
somebody is a real editor, and all of that, because those are my only regrets, that I didn't write more and I didn't have a good editor.
Mm. But it was still a great read. It
It
was
was
riveting. It was heartfelt. It was just like, oh my goodness. I saw a lot of myself in the book. I was just like, wow, this is a great read. So I was just like, yes, I saw, the little grammatical things here and there, but it's just like outside of that, you almost don't even get caught up on that because of the actual depth of the book and your life. and just how real it is. And I know how you mentioned that you just felt like it was everybody's story, but I think that's part of the beauty in
Mhm.
how you shared it, is that so many of us can see ourselves in that story in so many different ways and different places of your journey.
Mhm.
I think so many of us see ourselves there and often don't have outlets outside of ourselves where we see that even acknowledged, because we're living in a society in a day and age where it's frowned upon for people to know your worst parts of yourself, or worst parts or your struggle, and what isn't the photo finished or the perfect or the beautiful pieces. And so that's what I loved about the book, was that I saw myself in some of the ugly parts that I've been fearful of anyone ever knowing, or how will someone receive this. So it was just beautiful to see someone else, to see you just conveying and sharing all that, speaking your truth, um, and releasing that. So I can only imagine how much of a release that was for you to get it out. Like, how did you feel when it went on market, when it went to Amazon and people could
Yeah.
order it?
Initially, when it first hit, I was very excited. I was very excited. And then people started reading it, and then I was like, they try to steal my thunder. No, because I mean, the feedback from the people that you want your cheerleaders
Mm-hmm.
wasn't good. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you know, why would you say that? Um, you know, that whole you don't put family business,
Mm.
read what happens in the house stays in the house, and da 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 da. I'm, it's no
And
secret.
on that note, that's why we're so traumatized. We have
That's
to
what I
break
was getting
that
ready to
cycle.
say.
You
Exactly.
need to talk about this. You need to have community. You need to have family to break down and discuss these things. Because alone, that's how all of us are going crazy. That's how
Exactly.
all of us don't know each other's stories. That's how all these families are falling apart. So it's time to break that chain, break that cycle.
I'm like, I'm not a secret keeper. Like, I'm not going to do that. My children are 11. I gave each one of them a book
Mm,
to read when they were what, 9?
mm,
Because there are no secrets. There will be no secrets. I want them to know the best parts of their mother. And the best parts of their mother is their mother's story and her whole story,
mm,
right? And they're here now so they can see, the rest of it. But, why keep secrets? They were one of the first that I told about my father, because they, grew up thinking that my stepdad was their grandfather because that's
mm.
all they knew. I never mentioned, the person that I thought was my father because he just wasn't present. And so I was just like, whatever, you know. But, I'm not going to do this, but be truthful because so many people are affected, not just me.
Mhm,
When the story came out about, my dad, I called Pee Wee
mhm,
and I broke the news to him because
mhm,
I'm like, I'm not going to hide that from him. Like, we want to put this out. You know,
mhm,
I called my sisters and my brothers and, everybody. Um, and people didn't want me to do it the way I did. Some people thought I, was a little crass and, whatever. But, and that's fine. You can do it your way. Because my thing is, if you don't like this, write your own book.
mm.
Write your own book, tell your own story, tell it the way you want to tell it. But this is my story. This is how I'm writing it. And this is how I'm putting it out there. You
And
know?
I love how you say that in the book as well. Like, this is my story.
Yeah.
You may beg to differ, someone else may, but this is my story,
Yeah.
my
It's
perspective.
my story. This is how I saw it. This is the things that, I've witnessed, And so that was challenging initially. And then, I just it's like, you know what? That's like you said, this is what's wrong with us as a people, our
Mhm,
community. We like to hide stuff and this didn't happen or don't say this happened. Or the worst thing is to not say, don't even acknowledge. that it happened. Like that's the worst thing in the world, I think, and especially when it comes to children,
Mm-hmm.
to not acknowledge the pain, the trauma, and the suffering of a child is a huge disservice in our community. And it's just like, I'm not going to do that. Like I said, I gave my kids a book because I want them to know if any of these things should take place, I want you to be comfortable enough that you can say something because you know that your mama has gone through it, your grandmama has gone through it. She's still your grandmother, and you still have love and respect for her. But it is what it is. You're like, well, what? And don't tell them that. And them kids don't need to know that. They too young to know that. Well, what's too young and what's too old? When? When you want me to tell them? When? So that you want me to tell them when they're 16, when they have formed their identity, right? And their perception of who I am, right? And then I go, boom. And then they like, oh, my mother was a liar. All this time, my mother been lying to me. All this time she been, I ain't doing that. Nope, not doing it. So that book really, it helped me a lot. It helped relieve so much, like just writing about my mom, how much I hated her at times. Just being able to write that, like that, you know, sometimes I hate my mother. Writing that, I mean, I was crying but it was the truth. And I was crying because it hurt to have to write something like that about your mother. And then knowing that she's going to read this and hurt because I don't want to intentionally hurt my mother, right? But maybe this will help both of us.
Yeah.
Maybe this will help both of us to feel free,
Yes.
to be released. You're just walking around pretending like things didn't happen and you feel a certain way. Like, no, tell the truth so you can heal.
Yes. Heal those
Yeah.
wounds, heal that trauma.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was healing just reading the book and just being able to vicariously just experience some of those things. Because even myself, I've been experiencing some of those things presently that you were already able to do some time ago. But yeah, I've been breaking through some of those same barriers with my own mother, and we've been healing childhood traumas and things that either weren't spoken about, neither of us were aware of how we felt about it. And so just seeing some that reflected in someone else just felt like even more of confirmation and affirmation. Keep going. It's uncomfortable, it hurts, it's devastating. Like you said, to have to acknowledge these feelings that you don't want anyone to ever know or to feel that you that were real for you, but that's part of the healing journey and the healing process. And so I thank you for putting out your book and telling your story so that more people can start to have that ripple effect and implement these things into their life. Like maybe I can share that, or if I can't speak it to someone, let me write this book and put out these experiences. So speaking on these different chapters and how they were each kind of broke down the people in your life, how are these different people doing? How are you and your mom? How are the twins? That was so hard for me to read their chapter. Oh, I was sitting there crying reading their chapter. I was just like, oh my God, that is strong woman. Because I've had a strong period of being a sickly child myself. So just seeing that even amplified for another, I was just like, I can't imagine. Like I'm sitting there in tears reading it, like, oh my God. So yes, how is your mother? How are the twins? How is your husband? How is your father? Your fathers.
Right. My mom is doing well. We are doing well. And for a minute, she was a little touch and go. And because, she's been my mom all my life, and then here this man comes along that I just met and he is like jump right in like this is my baby. And I want to spend as much time with her as I can. And these my grandbabies, and I love them. And my mother was like, mm? Like,
Mm.
what you doing? So, I mean, even had a period where I would go down there because the towns they live in are like maybe 20 miles apart.
Mhm.
He is his first, so I would go down there and I would stay because he lived like in the country. And I would stay at his house, me and the kids, and I wouldn't tell her that I was down there because I didn't want her to be upset. So here it is, one of them things like you still scared of your mother after you wrote that book, you know. So I would, and then one day I was like, Amy, like, what are you doing? Like, stop it. You a grown woman. You're not, you know what I mean? Like, you're not,
Mhm.
girl, stop it. So, then I just like, Mom, I'm here. Me and the kids are going to Amherst and we get time. I'll come down there, whatever. So we got past that period. So now we're good. The kids are doing wonderful. They're doing virtual learning and actually doing better than they were doing when they were actually in class, which is woo, yes, they are doing very, very well. Um, they're 11 now. My daughter is I don't know what it is about girls. I have to do some more research. I think it's our genetic makeup. It's something about raising girls. Like she is different. Like I love her and my son dearly, but he is so much easier
Mm.
to raise.
Mm.
She is her personality. She reminds me a lot of myself.
Mhm.
Hmm. Um, and knowing that, no, seriously, that's what keeps me up at night. That she reminds me so much of myself. But I tell people when they say it, but remember, my mom did not know Jesus. My mom was a teenage mother. She raised me by herself. This is a different, like we had different qualifiers here, right?
Mm.
So the outcome is not, no, 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 no. Those things that I was doing, no, no, no. Like we have an open house. We have she's free to express herself, right? Um, just don't be disrespectful, but you are free to express yourself. You can let me know. If I've said something that made you mad, that pissed you off, tell me.
Mhm.
Tell me. Be honest. Tell me. Tell me you don't like this. Tell me. It
Mm.
might not change the situation, but you are free to express yourself without feeling like there's going to be some type of repercussion, because you were honest.
Yeah.
So I am giving her that space, but it's a little difficult. But they doing well. My husband is doing well. We had a little situation back in October. He
Mhm.
was shot by a random,
Mm.
I don't know what that was about, but that was a little touch and go for a while, but he's doing well. Um, yes. And my dad, like you see
I
this,
love the smile.
I mean, I could not have asked for a better situation. And I mean, don't get me wrong, he has his flaws and he has many of them.
Mm.
But as a dad, for me, I didn't think that you could top Mr. P. Like James Perry is my superhero. Like he was the man that stepped in when my dad and my mom split apart. He never wavered as a stepdad. Like he never walked away from my sister and I. And my sister's dad was in her life, but he's never called me his stepdaughter. There has never been any pivotal moment of my life that I can remember him not being there, or vice versa. Um, he has just been he was just the quintessential man for me, you know. Um, but and I've had him since I was I think 6 or 7. But for me, I never had a daddy. And the reason why I can say that is because although he was always present, even when my mom wasn't, he was always present. There were things that happened where it's like, yeah, because you're not his daughter. So, like his mom, when he and my mom broke up, his mom ain't want to have anything to do with me.
Mm,
You know, like, oh, those are. She would introduce us literally as those are JP's ex-wife's children.
wow.
And this is my grandson. So that let me know that I was different, that I'm not, actually, and that wasn't his fault. But as a child, you can only imagine how that made me feel. So it was like, okay, once again, I don't have that because I'm not accepted all the way around. So that was the thing that was missing. And Marshall, my biological father, is definitely my daddy. Like, we knew that from hello, even before he and I took a DNA test. And it just was like we talk on the phone, FaceTime every single day. That
Mm,
was that call. Like every single night we FaceTime. My children love him. He loved my children. When my husband was shot, he was like, I'm on my way. I have to be there. I have to look you in your face. I have to see that you're okay. And I'm like, you're looking at me. We're on Zoom. He's like, no, I have to see you. Um, there's not a day that he does not say, I love you. He texts every day, every morning to say, I love you. And he expects a text back. I'm like, look, I'm going to talk to you tonight. Why do you keep texting? If I'm down there, he still texts. I'm upstairs in the room and he texts, good morning, Amy Michelle Mays Langley. I love you. Every single day. Every single day. So he has been very present. Um, and like I said, flaws and all, because he's very honest and very open about his struggles and things that he went through and his life. And but for me, that's he's daddy. He's daddy.
cool.
So everybody's good. James is good. I just was over there earlier today. He's still my dad. I still call him my dad. Everybody is doing well. I am pleased with the trajectory of my life. So yes.
I love that.
Yep.
So that is the book, and I suggest everybody pick it up, read it. In Search of Amy is just you will see yourself, and if not yourself, someone close to you. The story is so beautiful. It is heart wrenching. It is heartwarming. It is riveting. I was on the edge of my I wasn't sitting, I was laying down reading it. But if I was sitting, I was on the edge of my seat for certain parts, especially learning about this DNA test and that whole whirlwind. And I needed to know what happened. I read it, the whole book, in like 2 sittings because I needed to know what happened. So yes, you all please pick up the book In Search of Amy. It will be linked in the description where you can purchase it. So now, please tell me about these new endeavors. This shirt. You showed me a mug before we went live. Talk to me. What is new endeavor?
So pandemic, right? So the pandemic happened, and the one thing about the beauty industry is you have to have contact with your clients. That's what we do. And the pandemic shut all of that down. So it shut that down. It shut my money down. And I was like, wait a minute.
Mm,
I have to find something to do because this is not good. I started making wigs at first. First, I started making wigs and I was putting together hair care packages to send to my clients. And then one day my husband was like, you and the kids when they start making shirts. Y'all, I'm about to buy a heat press. Y'all gonna start making t-shirts. And I was like, I'm not making no damn t-shirt. You don't tell me what to do. Um, and so we were going back and forth. And So he's like, you need to Google this and da-da-da-da. So I'm Googling, I'm looking at stuff, and I'm like, I don't know who you think he is trying to find me something to do. Because I mean, he worked, I mean, I am selling head packages. I ain't totally broke, just going back and forth. And then we went to, I think it was Michael's or something, and he's like, "Nigga, that's what I want you to get right there. You gonna get that cameo." So he spent his money, he bought it. He said he was making an investment in me and the kids. So he bought it, and we came home, and honey, the cameo is the Samsung of phones. Cause I am not an Android person. I need an Apple product where all I have to do is swipe my phone and I can dial a number, I can send a text, and I can take a picture. Okay? That cameo, girl, I mean, that thing drove me crazy until I said, look, I went on YouTube and they had this thing called the Cricket. We took the cameo back. I got the Cricket, and the Cricket is the Apple. Okay? Because I got that Cricket and I was boom. I made my first shirt. I was so excited and so happy. And after that, I was looking up vendors to find out how I can get shirts in bulk. And I was just cutting and pressing and cutting, and I was making mistakes and all of that, but I was doing it and I was so excited that I was able to do it and to create and just to learn about these different things and what's the SVG file and how you cut them and all of these different things and how you can print to transfer and how what heat works for this and what kind of peel it is. And so that's how I started. And then I joined a craft group on Facebook, Black Girls Craft with Cricket. And I joined this group and I started seeing like all of these ideas, and all of these, different creations that they were, I mean, all these creatives, I mean, beautiful work and like, oh, it's so much more that you can do. And they were doing tumblers and earrings and coffee mugs. And I was like, wow. So, girl, I went and got me a mug press. I said, I'm gonna start making mugs. So that's how I just made my first mug on, I think it was Monday.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I already got like 3 orders. So it's been really good. So then when everything opened up, I was able to I started bringing the clients back in, but what I did was I opened the book up, but I stretched my hours out. So for each service, I extended it by an hour and a half. And that was to make sure that one, I never did more than 3 people in one day. And it gave me the chance to have time in between to make sure everything was sanitized and disinfected, the way that I needed it to be, because I had family members, who had COVID and people that I know that died from COVID. And so I was like, I know I needed to get back to work. But yeah, I had to be careful. So this actually helped, supplement that lag, because if you're used to doing 5 to 6 heads a day, that's cut in half, you know. But it's, everything is going well. The shirt business. And I'm sorry, I should have said initially, my son and I came up with an idea about t-shirts because he wanted to do his own brand. And he is, we call him the bishop. That's what they call him at church. He's been wanting to be a preacher since I've known him, and I've known him all his life. And so I had reached out. I found a freelancer on Fiverr and asked, to help me come up with this logo thing for him, and just gave them a description. And again, they came back with, Bishop D, and it was nice. And so we started doing t-shirts for him first, but I was actually having somebody do the t-shirts for me because I wasn't, printing myself at the time. And I did the embroidered shirts, and then I did the vinyl shirts. And then I realized I can do them vinyl shirts myself. I know how to do, the heat, do that heat press. So yeah, so that's how those were our first shirts. The first shirts were the Bishop D shirts. So yeah, yep. So
Beautiful,
trying to teach the kids how to be entrepreneurs. Listen, we have several streams of income over here. They got hair, we have shirts, I sell wigs, wrote a book. My son has t-shirts and my daughter has lip gloss. Like my
beautiful.
husband was doing landscaping until that whole fiasco, but yes.
Oh, I love it. Several streams of income. That's definitely a message. So since we're coming to a close, what I like to have people do is share something that's either on your heart, maybe something that you live by, that you'd like to share with either other artists, creators, entrepreneurs, or just people in general. Do you have something that you'd like to leave with the people?
Yes. So I think in closing, like my takeaway or my giveaway
Yes.
be reach back. It There are billions of people in this world who are just waiting for a piece of somebody.
Mm.
They're waiting for your gift. And I think it is such a shame when we hold stuff so close to the vest because we don't want the competition. We feel like, well, I did my research and I got it, and you need to get it the same way. I put this work in, I put this time in, and I'm not. I just don't. I don't like that philosophy. That's different from the whole like cosmetology. Go get your license. That's different. Like helping somebody. I self-published, right? And so I have a girlfriend who wrote a book right after me, and I helped her every step of the way, through her book. I didn't charge her anything. I could have made some money. I could say, now I'm charging $400 to tell you step by step and to give you, all the vendors I use and this and this. But I'm just such a believer in helping people get to a place because the more you soar, the more I'm going to soar. It's not going to hinder me. Like your wings aren't, my wings aren't clipped because you grew wings. You know what I mean? So I just think that that's what we need to start doing. We just, I don't think we help each other enough. It did my heart, glad when my brother reached out, to say, "Hey, would you like to do the interview?" When he reached out to say, "You know what? You need to have a site where people can just click and it go right to, because people don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like nope, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to tell you where I got this from. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not saying give up all your secrets. You can't tell everything, but help reach back,
Yeah.
reach back and help somebody else. It's not going to hurt.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, your audience is not my audience anyway. And if it is, all it means is that the both of us need to work on marketing, right? Because there are billions of people out here who have not read In Search of Amy.
Yeah.
And that was like the big thing for me, like reaching outside of my family and my friends. Like once all 150 of them bought it, then what? And I'm sitting there like, so now what? Right. So then I go on Amazon and I opened it up to international, like not just selling it, in this market, selling it all over. Right. So that it could get out there because I only have like 1,000 friends on Facebook. All 1,000 of them did not buy my book. I can promise you. Okay. I have like my Instagram business page is open so anybody, could see it. And
Mm-hmm.
then I have my personal page that I finally opened because I'm like, I'm posting the book on there, but the same people seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
So, just reaching back and helping. That's my giveaway. Reach back. Reach back.
I love that. I love that as a giveaway. So I'll ask you to give some more away. Where can our people find you? Where can the family find you? Where can they get the book? Where are you on social media? Where can they find you?
So I am on social media. I am on Instagram and Facebook. I am on Instagram at the shampoo bowl, at the shampoo bowl. And that if you go on there, you will see all hair. It's all Amy and all Amy hair and what I do and what I do well. I have tips, I have pictures, I have videos. So I am there. My personal page is Chill and Amy. Chill and Amy. Chill is my husband.
Mhm.
So I included him in my little tag child, but he ain't on there that much. But you do get to meet the personal part of Amy. So you get to see Amy in action. You get to see Amy's life, Amy's children, Amy's husband, Amy's family. And then I am on Facebook under Amy Langley. And on Facebook, you know, Facebook, I put everything, that's the book, I do hair pictures, the shirts. Um, and so you can reach out to me on there as well. And then you can find my book. Just type in search of Amy.com and there it is. And it'll take you.
Oh, we love it. We love it. Well, thank you for being here with me, with us, with the family in the house. We greatly appreciate this artist touch. Touching base with you has been phenomenal. I have learned so much, and hopefully, everyone else watching has learned so much too. I am so excited. I speak and wish nothing for the best for you, for your life, for your careers. Yes, multiple streams of income. Yes, yes, yes. We love to see it. We want more of it. And just thank you for sharing you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you guys for inviting me. This is good.
You.
Everyone, this has been another episode of Artist Touch on House of Fluid Reflections. Again, I'm Yolanda Marie, or Yanni for short. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed. Remember to comment down below something you learned. What was your favorite part? Or even a question, because we'll be able to send her some questions. If you have any questions, we can forward them to her. And like she already listed her social media, if you have any questions for her, go ahead and go find her on her social medias and ask that question personally. And as always, if you or someone you know is an artist or creator and you'd like to sit down, have a talk with us, touch base, comment down below, or email us at houseoffluidreflections@gmail.com. Remember to follow us on all of our social medias at House of Fluid Reflections, wherever you look. And we will catch you in the next one. And for now, peace, love, and all that good stuff.